Well, this love affair definitely seems to be long over, and they're probably not going to be coming back together.
There's no need to feel down, I said.
Yep, all of this is now Iran is involved, as there's now allegedly a new report talking about the extreme dangers of Iran right before their nuclear peace talks with Donald Trump in just a few hours from now. As I would say, let's look into this organization that's warning about the extreme danger of the Iranian threat, as there are now a multiple amounts of propaganda, disinformation out there set to, of course, establish the groundwork for derailing any kind of peace deal, derailing any kind of real negotiations, as, of course, some people just want war, and they are doing everything, pulling out all the stops right now in order to achieve it. And that's why in this video, I wanted to call it out, as relations between China and Iran are expanding, as now the Iranians and Chinese look to, of course, watch out for each other in a very interesting move that definitely is trying to question American hegemony. What will Donald Trump do? Well, that's what a lot of people are asking themselves, as this president has been shown to be a lot different than his predecessors and himself, as, of course, he has taken very aggressive military actions that he himself never committed during his first term, that he is now fully committing to. The bombing of Yemen that is continuing and unfolding right now has cost more than $1 billion, and it continues to pummel one of the biggest proxies of the Iranians, as the Iranians just announced, hey, soldiers of the Iranians should leave Yemen, should not support them, and have pledged not to back the rebel group that, of course, has been launching unsuccessful rocket attacks into Israel. But again, the Wall Street Journal writes, as Trump squares off with Iran, the Middle East is on edge. And with that, of course, comes all this propaganda. New report came out that talks about Iran nuclear threat rises to extreme danger. That little bit was an extrapolation there by me, if you couldn't tell here. But here's the Fox News article. Ahead of Trump admin Iran talks, new report says Iran nuclear threat rises to extreme danger. The possibilities of Iran deciding to build nuclear weapons has been increased by the ongoing military conflicts in the Middle East. Yeah, you don't say so. As, of course, they talk about, oh, look at this report. Look at this organization. This report says the Iranians are bad. The Iranians are, they're going to have the weapon here. We saw Lindsey Graham just a few hours ago. The guy who's been calling for the bombing of Iran impatiently for now, I think around 20 years now. Ever since we went into Iraq, that was a big mistake, wasn't it? Donald Trump realized it, even called out the Bushes for making that big mistake here. And now he's endorsing Lindsey Graham, who has been trying to bomb that country for over 20 plus years, as he just came out a few hours ago saying, oh yeah, they have six nuclear weapons. Yeah, we know it for sure. This is going to be the thing that's going to get me what I wanted forever. Of course, it's war propaganda, and there's a lot of it. Now, when we look at this institution, that's one of the individuals. Benjamin Netanyahu also doing his best to subvert and destroy any kind of legitimate deal being made here, as, of course, he's coming out and saying, yeah, the Iranians better follow that Libyan model. Again, those words are just toxic to the process here, because the Libyan model is the Libyan government giving away their weapons and then having their leader tortured live on national television with Hillary Clinton cackling and like, ha ha, we came, we saw, we tortured him. She's an insane lady. And saying the Libyan model has already derailed peace talks between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And now we have frickin' Benjamin Netanyahu going to Washington, D.C. and saying, right after talks with Donald Trump, who announced a $1 trillion Pentagon budget, way too much frickin' money. Oh, yeah, they're going to follow the Libyan model, or we're going to bomb the crap out of them. Donald Trump came out, we're going to bomb the crap out of them. And it looks like they're just looking for justification in order to do that. Sorry, I got a nose here. That is just bothering me. Slavic men have a lot of nose hair. Anyway, sorry to distract from the news coverage here. But again, they're just looking for any type of excuse here. And it looks like they're getting it with forms of propaganda like this that talk about, according to the study since February 2024, the data of its last report, the threat posed by Iran's nuclear program has worsened significantly. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. As of course, this is the Institute for Science and International Security. Sounds harmless enough, right? Sounds like it has all the right monikers. And of course, we find out, we do a little bit of digging. We look into who is this, quote, Institute for Science and International Security. You're not for science? You're not for security internationally? Huh, bad people. We're good people. We're called the Institute for Science and Security. As they now have, look at this Geiger counter, really? Iran threat Geiger counter. Extreme. Again, ridiculous. You look into this organization. Who finances them? Oh yeah, the Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, all of the foundations of the globalist international class that truly have an invested interest in all of this, as of course the UN is involved here. And a lot of these organizations, a lot of these institutions, of course, do not hold to have the benefit of actual, quote, science and security. It's all about fear-mongering. It's all about laying down the groundwork, just like we saw in the early 2000s. Weapons of mass destruction. They're going to come get us here if we don't get them there. And again, same nonsense, same propaganda, except the American people are numb to it. We're not buying it. And I don't care how much Lindsey Graham, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi come out there and scream and cry. The American people are like, we gotta things to take care of here domestically here. Sorry, we're not going to do Iraq 2.0 on the scale of 3 times more of a disaster. Before talking about that and bringing in the China perspective here, which I think is interesting. China's doing some interesting things in Ukraine. China's doing some interesting things with Iran. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we do, sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. It's easy, it's quick, it's simple. You click right here. You click the link in the description first, then you click right here. You put in information. It's very quickly. You get emailed back a login, and you get 13 plus years of videos. I just shot a video today giving you a little behind the scenes about what's going on in my own personal life, but also, more importantly, doing a guided meditation with you guys. And I think I'm going to try to do this tomorrow as well because, meditations are... I would say like my secret superpower. My brain feels so much more refreshed. I have my own kind of unique personal take on it. And now I'm doing multiple days of guided meditations. And I think I've gotten some good feedback on it. And a lot of the members are like, this is pretty cool. This has helped me out. And I think it could help you out. We have 3 master classes and a lot of videos centered around helping you. These latest videos are just very on point when it comes to, okay, guys, let's all take a breather. Let's all try to take care of our mental health. A lot of us are just fried. A lot of us are just unwell. A lot of us are just dopamine ruled and destroyed. And let's try to unwind a lot of this nonsense. And that's what I did in today's video. Check it out right now on LukeUnfiltered.com if you haven't yet. Signing up also helps grow this independent media outlet. Now, the reports of what's happening with Iran right now is very peculiar, as again, many significant military infrastructure and hardware is being moved down to the Middle East right now. And there are a lot of long-range strategic bombers already placed, already located, already equipped, just ready to go at any moment, at any time, to start off this endeavor, not for the best interest of the American people at all here. As Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State for the United States, that recently had some of his staff fired by Laura Loomer because some of her staff were long-term neocons and never Trumpers, Rubio came out and said that the United States is in direct U.S.-Iran nuclear talks that, of course, will be taking place in just a few hours from now. Now, Rubio, who's going to be a key player in all of this, also represents the kind of neoconservative base here a little bit. Let's be honest with ourselves. His type of calls for foreign policy when he was a politician were aligned with Lindsey Graham, were aligned with John McCain. And how will he handle this process? Will he try to potentially sabotage it? Of course, we're going to be paying close attention to this, as now China has entered the picture here, as we have this from The Economist. Can China fight America alone? Asking the questions about the two biggest economies, as of course they just started a, quote, almighty trade war. And it is a pretty big one, as of course the United States now looks like they will be targeting China's oil storage terminals in Iran with new related sanctions. Yes, the Trump administration imposed sanctions on Iranian oil trading networks Thursday, including a Chinese-based crude oil storage terminal linked via pipeline to an independent refinery just days before direct talks with the United States and Iran here, as there have been some very interesting things happening between China and Iran. Here, as the Washington Post writes, Trump's tariff blitz could hardly have come at a worse time for China. China is dealing with some very significant economic issues as well, and their government is sure buying up a lot of the stocks that are going down in their country right now. Now, another very interesting kind of perplexing situation that also has been unfolding is the Ukrainians finding that, hey, the Chinese now are fighting us too. It's not just the North Koreans. They look like North Koreans. They all look like... Hey! Sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Stop it. Stop it. You were thinking it too. Anyway. The Ukrainians are coming forward and be like, look, there's Chinese people now. It's North Koreans. It's Chinese. It's Africans fighting on the Russian side. On the Ukrainian side, it's a whole bunch of mercenaries, a whole bunch of foreign legions, a lot of people from Colombia, a lot of people from all of Europe, a lot of Ukrainians, a lot of guys from Ukraine who don't want to be there. But right now, a lot of people call this fake news because Zelensky came out and said, look, guys, the Chinese here are fighting. The Chinese came out with a statement saying, yeah, if private, people from China want to fight alongside Russia, they have a right to do that privately. Just like Americans who fight on the Ukrainian side, quote, privately. As we also know, the CIA is deeply involved in a lot of those things. And let's be honest here, China's intelligence agencies, as well as Russia's intelligence agencies, are probably involved in a lot of the heavy fighting, a lot of the kind of orchestrated chaos in this proxy conflict that soon could unfold. This is the dangerous scenario here because we're just repeating history, and it's kind of becoming very cyclical. It's just rhyming now more than ever, especially with these global conflicts that are kicking off here, as they first represent smaller conflicts, but then more and more countries get involved, and then bada bing, bada boom, oh, we got a world war on our hands. Who would have thought that would have happened here with all these governments putting all the resources and people on the front lines here? So right now we have a list of about 115 Chinese nationals that are fighting on the front lines with Russia, as the White House has now announced that they are considering options for what to do here with the Chinese involvement in this proxy conflict. Now, originally, I saw on social media people were saying, it's fake news. These are Koreans. These are not Chinamen. These are Korean. That turned out not to be true. And again, lots of disinformation, lots of propaganda. Originally, people, the Zelensky was like, Zelensky, look, the Chinese men are here. And automatically, everyone was like, it's fake news, it's Koreans. It turns out it actually is the Chinese, and Zelensky is not lying in this particular moment, even though there's an active campaign to try to make it look like he was here. As now, there's suspected missile cargo ships that arrived in Iran from China, as a lot of people are now speculating that there could be a bigger, extensive deal being made with the Iranians and the Chinese, as the Chinese have been subverting a lot of the sanctions against Iran by buying a lot of their oil. Did Iran go to China and say, hey, you know what? We'll give you a good discount. We'll give you a crap ton of oil. We'll continue to give you a crap ton of oil. But we're going to need you guys to give us some more missiles and weapon systems here, because we know the Chinese are building up their militaries. They're building up their ships. They're building up their hardware. They're building up their space force. They are trying to be on par with the U.S. military. They're not, but they're set to outgrow us very fast with their manufacturing hubs and bases that could create ships in a very quickly and effective way, as well as other important key pieces of infrastructure and war machines that are currently being activated as they control the means of production. And I think this is why Donald Trump has been at such odds with them trying to change the tide of that. As robotics, AI has changed manufacturing where people no longer do it. It's robots. Who controls the robots? Who controls the manufacturing? Who controls the resources? Well, China's trying to do its best to control all of it. Donald Trump is challenging that. The United States still is the number one hegemonic power in the world, and China's looking to threaten that. And now American policy no longer will be aiding and abetting China. How will all this work out here? Well, Iran now looks like the potential proxy playground for this bigger battle that could unfold between China and the United States. Because if you're China and you're looking at Taiwan and you want to get Taiwan, what better way for you to get your goal than to kind of nudge Iran here, than to arm them up a little bit, than to give them nuclear weapon capabilities? As, of course, the Russians already probably gave the Iranians nuclear weapon capabilities. The Russians are huge trade and military partners with Iran here. They have given them sophisticated fighter jets. They have given them sophisticated air missile defense systems. And now China, looking at the way that everything's kind of unfolding here, with now the peace deal in Ukraine kind of just like done, they see this as a bigger perpetual war here. And it wouldn't surprise me, Iran, China, Russia kind of come together and say, look, yeah, screw it. Let's go fight because... You know what? If the United States is now actively engaged against Iran, the Russians are like, okay, they're not going to be helping Ukraine as much because how can they support, a two-front conflict? And then the Chinese are like, oh, yeah, this is a perfect time to take Taiwan. Because with the United States resources being active in now Ukraine, in the Middle East, are they going to be active in Asia too? We're talking about 3 conflicts. I mean, there was always this kind of historical context and conversations about countries can't fight a war on 2 fronts. We're going to try to fight one at 3 fronts. Could that be a potential play here? Well, that's the gambit that's being played here, and this is one reason out of many reasons why I keep saying, stop trying to bomb Iran. Okay? Stop it. It's stupid. It makes no sense at all, and it's not in our geopolitical interest at all. It's in favor of one other country's interest, okay? But guess what? Guess what? You're the president of the United States. You're not supposed to serve that other country. You're supposed to serve the American people. And there's a lot of things at home that need to be fixed domestically before we start going on Middle Eastern adventures, blowing people up in flip-flops, and then calling ourselves hero, saying mission's accomplished, okay? All right? We don't need that nonsense anymore, okay? As Iran just set a new record in oil exports to China. What did you expect was going to happen here? China trade spat undermines Trump's maximum pressure to Iran campaign. Yeah, the Russians too. The Russians have been trading a lot with the Iranians, so have the Chinese, and it's going to be interesting to see how all of this kind of plays out here as Russia just slammed Donald Trump's threats to bomb Iran. And again, Trump's language here has been very crass. Let's just be real with ourselves. He's like, I'm going to blow him up. I'm going to blow him up to smithereens. Lindsey Graham, you got my endorsement. Thomas Macy, we got to primary that guy. Really? Come on now. Lindsey Graham. That guy's lost it. That guy's lost his marbles. That guy wakes up in cold sweats when there's talks about peace deals, okay? That guy doesn't want peace. He wants war. He's a warmonger. Now, Russia's involved here. China's involved here. China's Xi Jinping is playing hardball with Donald Trump. Obviously, I'm on the side of Donald Trump here, especially when it comes to this trade war. Obviously, I think Donald Trump is making the right moves here when it comes to tariffs. I think Donald Trump is making the right initiatives here, trying to spur on American manufacturing, trying to take care of the American people. He's the first president in a long time that actually stood up to China and said, you know what, no longer are you going to have our free lunch. No longer are we going to be paying you to be top dog here because guess what? We're the top dog. And we're going to start taking care of our people. For the first time in a long time, that actually is something that deserves to be observed here, but also complimented. And listen, his stance against Iran, I think, is absolutely wrong here. It's none of our business. It doesn't serve our interests. And it creates a perfect trap for the United States to get involved in where clearly all hell could break loose in the world. if Donald Trump falls for this. If Donald Trump falls for the propaganda from Bibi and Lindsey Graham and these like Rockefeller frickin' tied in organizations that are also tied in with the Ford Foundation. Again, some of the worst players out there. Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, really? Those are the guys that you're going to believe? Big danger, Iran. Those are the guys you're going to believe? Really, Donnie? Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to stand up for? This is going to be the biggest test of his administration. I'm with him. I'm totally with him on the trade stuff. I'm totally with him on the tariffs, and I've been with him throughout the whole time. Like, yeah, Trump's doing a good thing here with the tariffs, 100%. Even though some libertarians were freaking out about it, I was like, hey, Donald Trump's doing a good thing here. And in hindsight, I think it is a good thing. Now, I think the Chinese and the Russians are setting up a trap, saying, take Iran, take it, come on, let's go. Because that allows them, and again, the Russians are working on new offenses, and they're saying, don't do this, Trump, no. But if you're China, Russia, you're like, yeah, one more proxy war, let's do it. And then let's create a third one in Taiwan. Let's do that. And then all hell breaks loose. And then World War happens because we are already indirectly fighting Chinese, Russian soldiers with our tax dollars. That's the situation that we're in right now. It's a very dangerous situation. It's a very dangerous gambit, as of course... we got another New York Times article. U.S. and China headed for monumental split, putting the economy on edge here. Yeah, this is happening. It's real, as there's now new reports of Chinese factories just being even shut down. As now we are also hearing that China is trying to buy up as much of their own stock market to stop the bleeding from Trump's tariffs, as there are economic pressures against the Chinese markets out there right now. Now, how will all of this kind of unfold here? Hopefully, and again, I don't like to wager on hope a lot, because hope doesn't mean jackish, especially during these days. But two possibilities. What I hope happens here: peace is made, oil is released on the world stage, wars are stopped. That's what we hope happens. What we are going towards, especially with some of these kind of like strong words, some of the heated rhetoric by Donald Trump, is proxy wars, more proxy wars. Yeah, let's ratchet it up in Ukraine. Let's ratchet it up in Iran. Yemen's a great proxy war. Let's do that one. Syria, that worked out really well. Let's do another one in Iran. That's going to be great. 3 times the size of Iraq, population-wise, 4 times the military. That's going to be wonderful. Let's bring it on. Oh, yeah. Oh, Taiwan, also on the chopping block. So as soon as something kicks off in Iran, Iraq 2.0, keep an eye out on the Russian advancements in Ukraine, and keep an eye out on the Chinese move against the Taiwanese. That's most likely going to happen here. And then from there, the most dangerous place that humanity has ever been in. That's my take. That's my analysis. If you appreciate it, share it with your friends and family members. If you appreciate what I've been doing here for over 21 plus years, I think it's been longer. If you appreciate what I do for 21 plus years, I started protesting the Iraq War in 2003, before the Iraq War started, so 22 years. If you appreciate all the work that I've been doing for 22 years in this alternative independent media space, support me. 20 cents a day. It doesn't mean, it's not a lot. It's very cheap, unless you're broke. If you're broke, don't worry about it. Support me, lookunfiltered.com. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.